Hey everybody, we're here at Gecko Garage Doors. Today I want to talk about garage door builds and quality, things to look for. There's a lot of manufacturers out there. We carry a few different varieties of manufacturers and styles of doors here at Gecko Garage Doors. But if you're shopping for a door, you're not sure what you want to be looking for, today I want to educate you on door strength, insulation, finishes, different things that you would look for in the perfect door for your house, design and stuff like that. But I really want to touch on build quality. Garage doors is can be an expensive investment in your house. They do seem to have great returns on house value as far as something invested into the frontwards appearance of your house. But you do want to make sure that you're getting a quality door. A lot of doors look the same on the surface, but the quality really is underneath. And so we're going to talk about a couple of the places that you can look at so that you know whether or not you're getting a door that's well built or maybe something that's not going to last so long, and make sure that you are getting the most value for your money. The first thing I want to talk about is this is a pan door. So this would be what we would call like the very basic door. So pan, when we say pan, it's like a cookie sheet pan. There's nothing in there. This door does have a little bit of insulation foam behind the stiles, but there's just one sheet of metal. So this metal, there's nothing on the back. So we might refer to that as a pan door or a one-layer door. So this is a great place to start looking at how a manufacturer builds their door, because you can see all the way inside underneath. Nothing's hidden as far as what designs they used for bending these tops and how they attach the stiles to the main pan of the door. Because this is where we might find some places that fail if they're either not well assembled or it's not a great design off just right out the get-go. So on this pan door, I want to show something you'd want to look for as the first place that we would look for a build quality or strength. So when these door panels are made at the manufacturer, this comes as a big flat sheet of metal in a roll, and they send it through a pressing machine. So it's going to look a lot like a piece of paper, and it's just going to roll through, and they slowly start to bend. So if you can see on this paper, like it's not going to hold itself up. So all the strength comes from how they do the bend. Every manufacturer has its own method of doing the bends, and obviously when you get the bends in, it'll hold it straight. So what we like to see is that they didn't just fold it flat and pinch it like this. What we like to see is more of like a C channel. So you've got more bends. So you see how that comes around and makes like a, almost like a 7. The more angles you have, the more strength it has. The straighter it's going to keep your door, the longer it's going to last. What happens is when the door is in the up position, it may sag if it's not being held straight. And every time it closes, that sag has to pop up to go over the transition. Over years of that bending back and forth, we start to see stress fractures cut through the lip of the door. That's probably the #1 reason we end up replacing doors, is the stress fractures basically cutting through all the strength and ruining the sections. And that's usually a big red flag. Either manufacturing or sometimes wind damage over time will do that. But we have noticed that depending on how they're built, they will withstand much more, wind pressures, much more use, more damage before it would cause any cracks or anything that would ruin the door. So that's why we really look at whatever manufacturer we're using, that we really look at how this lip is formed, whether or not we think it's going to be, a really well strengthened door for the long term. The other thing is how they attach. These are called stiles. These are thicker steel, and this is where the hinges mount. I do like, especially on pan doors, because there's nothing else holding them together, I do typically like to see these pop riveted. These are just pressed, but So if you're looking at a door that doesn't have any insulation, or is just a 1-layer or 2-layer, which we'll talk about in a bit, I like seeing pop rivets, at least on the ends, because they just seem to hold better when doors start shifting or moving. Sometimes these pop loose. We will talk about some of the other things that strengthen doors, as far as once you get up out of the 1- and 2-layer doors, you'll get into what we'd call a 3-layer or a 4-layer door, which strengthen completely different than these do. Now I'd like